Now, let's start by mixing our gum. You get your bowl and a small spoon. Make sure you have your hot water also, boiled. And also you have your CMC by the side there. The next important thing there that you are going to be using now is your measuring spoon and measuring cup. So the first thing you are going to do is to measure half cup of water into your bowl, the boiled water. Don't forget, the water must be boiled. The next that goes into the boiled water is your 1 teaspoon of CMC. Now measure your 1 teaspoon of CMC and pour into the boiled water. Now using your smaller spoon, begin to stir. The truth is that it will not completely dissolve. All you need to do is to set it aside for at least 20 minutes. Everything will be well mixed. And if you notice that it's too strong, add a little hot water and mix before using. Now set it aside. Next, we start with our floral tape and our wire. I want to show you how you can use half of your floral tape. I have this floral tape divider that I normally use whenever I don't want to use the full size of floral tape. And at the middle there you can see is a blade. It can also be set. You can set it well the way you want it. If you don't want to use half, you can use quarter. You just lose it and set your razor blade. Okay, so now you can see it. I didn't lose it. It was still sealed, and I put it inside that particular divider, and you begin to roll. Before you know it, it will divide it into 2 equal parts. So that is it. So now I open it. You can see how small. I'm now using one side of it. You can see how tiny it is. This is exactly what I want to use. Mostly because of the size of the flowers that I'm using. Sometimes I can use the full length. So now for our wire, most of us we like using it like this, curved, but naked. But I will tell you another method you can use. Even though that works for you, I get my single wire uncurved and I begin to wrap the floral tip at the mouth of the wire, the tip side of the wire. And I will go around like 10 times. Then I will take my round nose plier, curve it with the floral tape already applied on it. And then I continue with my floral tape to tape it together. And then I will run down. Now for you to start, you can start by taping it up to 10 times round before you curve it. So you can see what I have. Then when you curve it, you continue taping it again until it is well filled up. Then you begin to go down. This is how I'm going to prepare all the wires I have here today, but behind the camera. So you can see the wire is ready. So the next thing we are going to do now is to bring out some CMC. Keep it aside and then get your flower paste. For every flower paste you want to use for these flowers, apply a little CMC. Now the reason is to make it look solid, and it will help you to be able to roll out and frill easily, or maybe to thin it out easily using your ball tool. Next, you can see I've made a ball with the paste, and I've now inserted my wire into the gum. Okay, Now insert, you can see the gum is okay now, there's no lumps inside. Now put your gum inside it to wet it and then insert into the ball. Then after that you can place it on your work table and turn it into a cone. So now by the time you insert it, make sure you touch the bottom part to lap very well on the wire. You can still use your hand to turn it into a cone. Everything depends on what works for you. You must not use my method if you know that working with your hand works for you, not working on table. And if working on table works for you, use your table and turn it into a cone. Always do what you know that helps you to feel comfortable. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to bend the mouth of the cone and begin to press it so that I'll turn it into a fish tail. Now you can see it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to bring the left side first, curve the left side up first, and then cover it up with the right side, and it will give you your first petal rose. So next you apply a little gum to hold it down. There are other methods you can actually use to achieve this. You can get your cone and just use a petal, your first petal, and wrap it to give you this. They are all the same thing, as long as it will look like this. So you apply a little gum downside of it and hold it down. And this is my result for my first petal rose. So now, place it on top of your styrofoam, flat styrofoam, and set it aside. Now you get another one. This time I am using my hand to form the cone instead of working it on the table. Like I said, use any method that works well for you. And I've already prepared my wires. So you can see the one of the wire again. Touch your gum and insert it into the cone. Then press together under the cone to hold the wire firm. So you can see what I have there. Now you do another one. Insert your wire again after touching the gum, and then this time around use your hand to make the cone work and keep it aside also. Now I'm going to show you another method. Just work and get your cone first. Insert your wire. And then make sure you grease your hand with a little shortening. Now with a little shortening, begin to pinch out one side of the rose. That is from the top side, don't forget. And then roll round. Using your gum also to hold the downside of it. It will still give you the same thing. So now look at all these three methods. Anyone that works for you best, go ahead and use it. Now, roll out your paste using your cell board or groove board, whichever one you are taught. I was taught that the name of the board on the table is groove board, but in some areas I was also taught that is called cell board. So whichever one you are told, just bear in mind that what you are using. Now roll out your paste. Remember, before I roll it out, I have already added my CMC to make it stronger, And just like you are rolling out your sugar flowers, make sure that you roll it out thin. And then I am using 3 different sets of cutters here. You already know what this cutter, the name is. It is called petal cutters. I'm not actually using the smallest of it, but I am using a kind of a size range. The one following that one, and the next one is not actually the smallest. It depends on the size of the cone you are using. That's how you judge your cutter. So now, after rolling out, cut out. Use the smallest of the ones you have and cut out. Now, after cutting it out, place it on top of a foam. Use your ball tool to thin it out. Now, the third method of getting your first petal rose. You get your cone, apply some little gum, and then collect one of the thinned out petals and begin to wrap. Place your cone on top of the petal, making sure that the mouth, that is the pointed mouth, is down and the wider side up. And then wrap starting from the left to the right. It will still give you the same result. So I've showed you how to make 3 different types of first petal rose.